So let's take some steps that we can take in order to go the distance. Number one is we have to realize that you begin looking at your spouse as valuable. Now, you can take the word spouse out. If you're single and you've got some friendships that need mending or family situations, just take the word spouse out and say friend, family member, whatever. But if you are married, to look at your spouse as valuable. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the most valuable, have you put a 10 on the forehead of your spouse? Have you said, my spouse is valuable, my family member is valuable? And you'll only know how valuable something is if either it's taken away from you or how much you would actually pay for it. And you see, I think that's where a lot of us don't realize how much God loves us. Because he was willing to give his life for you and for me. And we're loved with an everlasting love. And so if you want to value your family member, your friend, your spouse, ask the question, how can I value you? How can I love you better? I wouldn't ask that question, though, unless I had a pen handy, piece of paper. And then when you do ask the question, be wise and preface it by saying, would you mind narrowing it down to 2 things right now? Not 20. It might be too much. I'll have overload. But what are the top 2 ways that I can value you? Just give me and I guarantee you, it may take them a few minutes, but they can probably come up with an answer. And you might be surprised because you might think it's something really big, but it might be, would you just mind picking up the cotton picking socks and underwear off the floor? Or would you mind just helping me with some family chores? Or would you mind just laying off the negativity a little bit and just trying to maybe say 1 or 2 positive things a day? I mean, I know I'm not perfect. I know I can improve, but is there any way you can kind of intersperse the positive with the negative? It's a way for us to get honest. It's a way for us to talk about some things that we hadn't been talking about. And let me ask you this question. Do you see yourself as valuable? Do you see yourself as valuable? Because the struggle most of us have, and I've had this struggle some too in my own life, is if I grew up with some people putting a 2 on my forehead, it's going to be hard for me to put a 10 on the forehead of other people. Sometimes if I have a low self-image or low self-esteem or whatever the case may be, it might be hard for me to put a 10 on the forehead of another person. And so that's where this relationship with God comes in, where you say, you know, I've been bought with a price. I belong to God. I believe it is more important what God says about me than what other people say about me, but it's more important than what Jesus has done for me than what any other person has done. Now, I'm not privileged. He, of course, died for everyone, but I need to claim my salvation. I need to claim my personal gift, as every person needs to. And I need to claim that I'm worthy and I'm valuable, not because of anything I've done, but because of what God has done for me. And I need to claim that worth. I need to claim my sonship or daughtership. And then begin praying that the Imago Dei would be restored in you and your spouse or your family or your friend. God, restore this relationship in us. Help us to realize that you took the first step. You see, when Adam and Eve messed up in the Garden of Eden, Adam didn't come running to God. He hid. He ran away. Who took the first step in this relationship to reconcile it? God did. And you and I say we want to be like Jesus, right? We'd like to be more like Jesus. Well, if you'd like to be more like Jesus, take the first step. Do what God has done for us. Do that for the other person that you're wanting to see reconciliation and healing with. Take the first step. God did it for us. He came after Adam and Eve. If we want to be more like Jesus, he took the first step. He left heaven and came to earth and was born in a cow stall in Bethlehem so that you and I after we close our eyes for the last time, could wake up in heaven. Come on, somebody. I mean, Jesus did that for us. So he took the first step. We should take the first step.